Good evening.
Good evening,
Thank you
welcome.
for the glowing introduction. Thank you so much.
You're
Good evening,
welcome.
everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you, Debbie, and the entire Inside Fashion team for having me.
You're
Thank you so much,
welcome.
creatives.
You're
My
welcome.
name is Mr. You rightly said. I am a fashion business consultant, an image architect, and the founder of Golden Mrs. Empire. To put it simply, I help fashion brands look as expensive and structured as the value they provide. So before we look at any slide, I want to ask you creatives here tonight a very honest question. And I would like you to type your answer in the chat box. Who is your target audience? Who are you selling to? Whatever you are selling, just tell me who are you selling to. Please let me type it in the chat box. I'm waiting. So while you type that, let me quickly share my screen. So are we already answering the question? Who are you selling to? Whether you're a fashion designer or you're a model or whatever you do, who do you sell to? If your answer is anyone or everyone, or for an example, as a designer, when I asked who are you selling to, your answer is anyone who loves fashion, every woman, then that is the exact reason you are attracting bargain hunters who argue over your price. Because loving fashion is a feeling, not a budget. So tonight we are shifting you away from that. We are talking about something that can change how you run your fashion business or whatever business you do. Identifying your audience and effectively communicating your value. I hope you are all with our pen and notepad tonight.
Yes, we are.
So let's dive right in. The first step we want to talk about here is identifying your audience. The biggest mistake I see fashion designers, models, and even creatives make is trying to speak to everyone. If you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. You need to know that you need to segment your market. You need to know the exact people you sell to. So how do you segment your market? You do that by looking at two things. You look at your audience's demographics and their psychographics. So what are their demographics? The demographics are these questions. The questions I want to list out now. You need to be able to answer these questions for you to be able to know your audience. The first question is, where do they live? For example, are they based in Lagos? Are they international? You need to know where exactly your audience live. Also, the next question you need to know about the demographics is, what is their age group? Are they mothers? Okay, even if they are mothers, buying things for their, maybe buying kiddies wears for their kids. What are their age range? You need to know that. Also, under demographics, you need to know their income level. Because knowing their income level will help you to tailor your price. Now, the demographics tells you who they are. Let's move to the psychographics. The psychographics tells you why they buy what you sell. The first question you need to have answers for is, what are their fears? The second question under psychographics is, what do they value? And the next question under psychographics is, what are their daily pain points? Now think about the last person who bought a garment from you as a fashion designer or whatever business you do. Think about the last person who booked your service. In one or two words, what was their biggest frustration before they found you? You can answer that in your head. But just for you to know what we're talking about when we see psychographics, it tells you why these people buy this thing you sell. People don't just bring money out to buy things. There are reasons they buy, right? There are fears they want to take care of. So now, all of these details,
Is that by
you combine all this to make a buyer persona. What is a buyer persona? This is a short, specific profile of your ideal client. Let's make this relatable. Imagine your buyer is called Busy Bridget. When you found the answer to your demographics and your psychographics, you now imagine it is one person. You give that person a name. So in this case, I'm giving you an example, and I'm naming that person Busy Bridget. So let's assume I'm a seller. When I did my demographics, the age, location, income level, then the psychographics, when I did the assignment, all the information I get, there are these things I'm about to say in this example. Busy Bridget, 35-year-old corporate 35-year-old corporate executive in Lekki, Lagos. That means I'm telling you the demographics of my persona. I'm telling you she's 35 years old, she's a corporate executive, and she lives in Lekki. Now, she works 12 hours in a day, has zero time to source fabric or sit with a tailor. That means that's a fair already, because she's not expected to go to the market to get fabric, and she does not have the time to sit with a tailor for fitting. That's already a fair. So now, what do you do with this information? Once you know Bridget inside out, which means once you know all this information and you give it an illusion name, you make it someone in your mind, then you stop posting generic pictures. Like, this is an example of a fashion brand now. You don't just start posting pictures of what to sell only on social media or your website or whatever you are communicating with them. You need to tailor your entire presence. Everything you do, you need to tailor it to this particular persona you create. You already have the information. You need to tailor everything you do. You use this information to speak directly to the fears or to the psychographics you found out. That's the fears, the value, the pain points. So for an example, remember our example, Busy Bridget. She has the fear of looking unprofessional, or the fear of wasting time, or the fear of so many fears like that. So you speak to those fears. You speak on how what you sell is going to help us solve that problem. You position yourself as the solution to our busy schedule. In the case of this example, so for whatever you sell, you position yourself for the solution to that problem you found out that your audience has. So that is the reason for a buyer persona. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is defining your unique value proposition. When we say value, your value is not what you do. Like as a designer, maybe you sew, you cut, you iron, even if you do, or you have people that do that, your value is not all of that. As a model, your value is not that you run the walkway, you wear the outfits. That is not your value. Your value is the specific results or transformation you provide to your audience. So to know your unique value proposition, you need to know the answer to the one question: what do my customers stand to gain? I don't know why this slide is not coming up. The next slide. Okay, I think it's the network. So while we wait for that, let me keep explaining. To know your unique value proposition, you need to know the answer to this one question. You need to ask yourself, what do my customers stand to gain? To figure this out, we have to move from talking about features to talking about benefits. A feature is the component of a product or service, while the benefit is what the client actually gets. So let's say you sell bespoke bridal wear. The feature will be, I use high quality imported French lace and added hand stitched beads. That's about you, that's about that clothes. But the benefit will be, I give brides a stress-free luxury fitting experience and a flawless dress so they feel like royalty on their big day. Notice how the benefit speaks to the bride. Notice the difference. To know how to write your unique value proposition, I want you to write down this simple formula. I help dash solve dash so they can dash. Now, I help dash. The first empty space will be the audience that you serve. So, to solve dash, the second dash will be the problem that you're helping them to solve, or the specific problem. Then, so they can dash. So the last empty space will be the desired results you want to help them achieve. So now, let me give you an example with the strategy part of my brand as an example. I help fashion houses solve the problem of internal frameworks and external visual authority so they can scale globally without founder burnout. So, depending on what you do, that's how you're going to input your own answers in those blank spaces. And now, feel free to take a screenshot, go through it later so you can fill in those spaces. Or you can even try it right now. Let's try this together, please. I want you to drop your unique value proposition in chat using this formula. Let's just do a quick exercise. You don't need to overthink it, just give it a try. I help put your target audience, put the specific problem you help them solve so they can put the desired result, give them. While you write that, before I change the slide, don't forget to take a screenshot so you can give it a detailed practice later. Because whatever business you do, even if you say you want to do something again with fashion or for whatever business, you need to know your audience. Because if you are not speaking to the right audience, then it's just like pouring water in baskets. So please, let's do well to take this and know what we actually serve our audience, to know our unique value proposition. So now, once you fill in those blanks and you know your unique value proposition, what do you do with this information? What do you do with the unique value proposition? It becomes your elevator pitch. Yeah, it is found on your website. You put it in your bio on every social media pages. You use it when you introduce yourself at networking events. And it guides everything you do in your brand, not only your fashion brand. Even if you have people that run businesses around you and they don't know their unique value proposition, then what exactly are they communicating to their audience? So for whatever brand, beyond the fashion niche, you need to know your unique value proposition. It should be the sentence about your brand that even when they wake you up, you should be able to say it often. You should have it written and kept somewhere safe. Now, step 3, which is tailor your message and choose the medium. Now that you know who you are talking to and you know what your value is, how do you communicate it? So the first thing here is ditch the industry jargon. If you are talking to a client, they don't care about the technical terms of your industry. Yes, let me use that. Okay, let me use a fashion business again, since this is a fashion webinar. So if you're talking to a client, they don't care about the technical terms of pattern drafting or the weight of a fabric. Of course, we know later, of course, they care about the quality of what you give them. But I mean, when you want to sell to them, you want to speak to that side of graphics I talked about. Yes. You don't talk about the technical terms. You only talk about the benefits most of the time. You talk about the benefits they get when they patronize you. You speak the term they understand. You speak the language they understand. And mostly speak about the benefits they get, not the features. They care about, for an instance, an outfit. They care about how it looks on them, So you need to speak clearly about the confidence, about their peace of mind. Most of the time people are scared of designers spoiling their fabric, their expensive fabric, of course, or disappointing them. They say mostly designers disappoint. So you need to speak to that peace of mind, to their peace of mind. You need to speak to their confidence. Do your own assignment to know where your audience are found. It is not a one size fits all thing when it comes to audience and communicating with them. Also, stop telling people how hard you work. Start telling them who they become when they wear your pieces as a designer. And also for other businesses too, because I believe there might be other people here who are not into fashion. You tell people, it is important you tell people what they become when they use your product or service. Not just telling them the feature. Okay, as a model, I will run the runway, I'll wear the outfit. No, that's not the benefit they get. Depending on what brand you're working for or what audience you're, of course, rendering your service or selling your product to, tell them what they become. That means the benefit they get when they patronize you, when they use your service or your product. And most importantly, your digital presentation must match the financial language of the buyer you want. Stop posting videos of messy cutting backgrounds. As designers, we see a lot of videos. Yeah, we know we are asked to show more behind the scenes, that they want to see you raw, they want to see you as whom you are. But at the same time, you need to be intentional. You need to intentionally curate your content when you post online, because that is your storefront for the people that are meeting you for the first time online. So now you might want to ask me if I shouldn't show my messy room or my cutting table. How do I show up on social media? How do I prove I am actually working? You don't need a million naira or a fancy studio to show your process. You just need to find your camera lens. Yes. Because as designers, we are expected to show. Of course, you want to show the fabric, you want to show the outfits, you want to show a lot of things. You want to show like you have a working space. But let me tell you, I have 2 secrets I brought to you tonight to show how you can show your work while still keeping your presentation looking expensive. The first one is the close-up video, the macro shots. Stop taking wide videos that show the whole room, the unpainted wall, or the clutter on the floor. Instead, zoom your phone camera in. You zoom in it tightly. Film maybe a 5 seconds close-up video of just your scissors smoothly cutting through a fabric, or a needle pressing through a beautiful velvet fabric. Your audience isn't looking at your messy shop anymore once you do that. They are staring directly at the beauty of your craftsmanship. Now, let me bring this home. When you look at Vicky James or Prudence or even Tubo's Instagram page or any other social media pages, I don't know their workplaces. I don't know where their physical fashion houses are. I don't know where. But of course, what we saw online made us respect them. Have you ever seen their messy cutting studio? Of course, every designer that sew has that. They have messy places where they cut pieces all over the place. But they never showed it. This is because it is curated. It is done intentionally for the type of audience. Get the little process of cutting, and you only see the way the scissors glides through beautifully, the way the needle pierces through the outfit, and when the outfit is already coming up looking beautiful. Do you see that? So henceforth, you can just take this as an assignment. Study how brands that you love, that you look up to, do their things. Study how they show up online, so we can stop showing that actually the messy part, because all of this determines the type of audience that approach you. Also, now let me go to the second point, the second secret, the 1 meter rule. Even if you don't have the fancy space you want, or even if you are getting there but you still feel it's not giving you the kind of luxury layout you want to show to the type of audience you want to attract, you don't need an expensive store. Just go to a bookshop. You can even do it tomorrow. Buy a piece of smooth plain white cardboard paper for less than 2,000 naira. Lay it over a small table or a chair right next to a window, or where there's enough natural light. Now place your fashion sketches or your fabric swatches, the part of fabric, maybe you want to talk about the fabric for a collection, you know. So place it on that clean white surface, then snap a close-up shot. You see, to the online viewers scrolling on Instagram or any other social media you are posting it, that one clean square meter tricks their brain. It implies that your entire fashion house is elite and highly organized. So, my dear creatives listening to me tonight, remember, control what is inside your camera frame and the market will respect your price. Stop documenting a chaotic tailoring workshop. Start displaying a premium fashion house. So, we talked about the medium where you're going to meet your audience. Based on the people you are trying to reach, what is the number one social media platform or communication channel where your ideal clients are hang out? You can type, you can unmute your mic to say it. Where is that one social media channel that you know your ideal client hang out, where they spend their time mostly?
Okay. I would say
Okay.
Instagram actually. Instagram, WhatsApp. Yeah. Instagram and WhatsApp.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, knowing that actually is very, very important. So you can meet them where they are. This week, I am opening up my calendar to run exactly 5 free 15-minute visual positioning audits for members of this community. You and I will get on a one-on-one private call. We will look directly at your current online presentation, find the exact visual or structural bottleneck that is holding you back. The link to my link tree and my Instagram will be sent to the Inside Fashion group. So you're going to type, once you click on that link, you will see a button that says Strategic Brand Audit. So, creatives here tonight, designers, everyone listening to me, let's stop just running stressful workshops and start building highly structured premium fashion houses. Thank you so much for the time tonight, and Debbie, the floor is back to you. Thank you.